Setting up a Shopify store in 2026 takes almost zero effort. You click a few buttons, and the platform handles coding, hosting, and inventory integration. But a working website is not the same as a profitable business. You still have to get people to walk through the digital door. When new sellers realize the traffic isn't coming naturally, they look for shortcuts. They watch a few videos titled Top 50 Shopify Apps and start installing every plugin that promises to optimize, automate, and scale their store. This creates a condition called app bloat. It's the assumption that stringing together complex enterprise software will magically do the heavy lifting of finding customers and convincing them to buy. This chart shows exactly what happens to your website when you overload it with plugins. As you install more apps on the x-axis, your site speed and conversion rate on the y-axis drop rapidly. Because most shoppers are tapping on their phones, a slow-loading page instantly destroys their trust, and they abandon the site before the first image even loads. And while your conversions are dropping, your costs are rising. As you can see by this red area chart, those monthly subscriptions stack up fast. You are burning through your cash runway before you've even recorded a single profitable sale. We need to strip away the hype. Instead of guessing which of the thousands of available apps are worth your money, we are going to outline the absolute leanest, most effective tech stack you need to launch and actually grow. Getting a store off the ground doesn't require a massive software budget. It requires clear strategy, and leaning on bloated software is usually just a way to hide the fact that you don't have one yet. The foundation of your store starts with Shopify itself, paired with a clean, completely free theme. Choosing a free theme means you are giving up a highly customized, bespoke storefront. Your site will look similar to others, but in exchange, you guarantee that your pages will load instantly. That trade-off is mandatory. Most of your traffic will come from users scrolling on their phones. On a mobile device, a clear, fast-loading design builds far more consumer trust than complex animations that lag on a 4G connection. Once the store is fast, you have to drive people to it. Right now, short-form video on platforms like TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts is the most effective way to grab attention and pull free traffic to your products. Look at this effort and impact matrix. Expensive premium themes sit in the high-cost, low-impact quadrant. They drain your budget without moving the sales needle. Free themes cost nothing and keep your site fast, placing them in the high-impact zone. Adding tools like Canva and CapCut lands them in the high-effort, high-impact quadrant. These get eyeballs on products. The catch is that while these tools are mostly free to use, they require real work. You have to spend the time to understand pacing, learn how to edit out dead space, and design thumbnails that actually make someone stop scrolling. And no slick editing is going to save a product that nobody wants to buy. The software just presents your offer. It doesn't create the demand. In the early days, you should be paying for your storefront and your marketing with your own sweat equity, not your credit card. Focus on mobile load speeds and keeping viewers watching your videos, rather than paying for a fancy storefront layout. Once you actually have visitors landing on your site, your priority shifts. You have to capture as much value from that existing traffic as possible before they leave. A lot of people will put an item in their cart and then simply get distracted. Basic, automated email marketing tools monitor those abandoned carts and send a quick reminder, pulling a percentage of those lost sales right back to your checkout page. You can also use simple upselling tools. Showing a frequently bought together prompt at checkout increases your average order value immediately without spending another dime to acquire a new visitor. These retention tools act like passive income generators, but only if you put in the work. You have to sit down and write email sequences and upsell pitches that sound like a real person rather than a spam bot. Beyond marketing, you need tools to handle the physical reality of getting products to customers, which brings us to the specific operational hurdles of selling in regions like India. If you operate purely on cash on delivery, you expose your business to severe return-to-origin risks. Customers can easily reject the package at their doorstep, leaving you to absorb the shipping and packaging costs for an item you never sold. You mitigate that risk by integrating a reliable prepaid payment gateway. When a customer pays up front, the chances of the package bouncing back to you drop drastically. But asking for money up front requires the customer to trust you. You have to balance that hesitation by answering questions about shipping times and return policies immediately, which makes a simple live chat support tool highly valuable. These back-end plugins, the emails, the upsells, and the payment gateways, aren't there to make your site look cool. They exist solely to protect your profit margins and squeeze every possible dollar out of the traffic you worked so hard to get. This brings us to how you measure success. Beginners tend to make decisions based on how they feel about a product or an ad. Professionals make decisions based entirely on what the numbers tell them. It is very easy to look at a high revenue number on your dashboard and feel like you are succeeding. But if you aren't tracking your ad spend, your software subscriptions, and your shipping fees, you might be losing money on every single transaction without realizing it. That makes the most valuable tool in your entire e-commerce stack the most boring one, a basic spreadsheet. Here is the actual math that keeps a store alive. This Google Sheet tracks daily operations, laying out the raw ad spend, the specific unit costs, and the actual net profit margin. It isn't pretty, but looking at these numbers every single day forces you to understand exactly how much cash you actually have to work with. Compare that necessary manual work to how beginners use flashy ad spy tools. They pay for software to find a competitor's winning ad, and then they download it and run the exact same creative on their own page. That rarely works long-term. If you use spy tools, you should be dissecting why it works. You look for the emotional triggers, the specific hooks, how the offer is structured, and then you apply those concepts to your own original content. The same logic applies to AI tools for writing copy or generating images. They are excellent at speeding up your workflow when you know what you want to say, but they cannot invent a viable business strategy for you. Doing the unglamorous work of tracking your exact margins in a spreadsheet is going to keep your store alive a lot longer than letting an AI write your product descriptions or ripping off someone else's marketing campaign. So if you are starting fresh today, you need to ignore the noise and focus entirely on a lean, practical setup. This scorecard outlines the 2026 Lean Launch Stack. You need just 5 things: a free theme for a fast mobile experience, CapCut or Canva for your ad creatives, an email tool to recover abandoned carts, a prepaid gateway, and Google Sheets to track margins. Notice what we aggressively cross off. You don't need expensive premium themes, complex AI automations, or pricey enterprise spy tools. If you are the type of person who spends months preparing and fine-tuning your website layout, cancel those premium app subscriptions. You need to launch your store today and let actual customers tell you what works and what doesn't. And if you are starting with a tight budget, your approach of using free tools and doing the manual labor yourself is exactly right. Putting in the sweat equity to learn video editing and write your own copy builds a much more resilient, high-margin business. The reality is that software just amplifies what is already there. If nobody wants the product you are selling, installing a $50 a month analytics plugin isn't going to convince them to buy it. Your tech stack shouldn't be built to make you feel like a massive corporate CEO. It exists to help you execute the basic, unglamorous fundamentals, putting a good offer in front of the right people, and keeping track of your cash. That is how you actually generate a profit.